Welcome back, guys. Here we are after that small break. Sorry for the rough transition, but we did just have that one game. It was incredibly one-sided to SANDBOX here. We're hoping that Jin Air can pull something off, but as you guys saw, Summit putting on a masterclass of the top and mid AP Renekton, some sick engages, and a great game from him.
Yeah, and, well, here's a Summit sign. Hunted top? I don't know what Hunted means. Oh, best top laner in Korea.
I didn't. What was he holding there?
I'm actually not quite sure.
Oh, it's a rice ball. Thank you. It's Summit's character mascot. We're learning a lot of new stuff here, as well as the inspiration for Dove's name was, they call him Soap God, but because he chose his Dove name because he was an Azir god when he was an amateur player, because Azir to pigeon to Dove, that's kind of where it goes. So kind of a roundabout way to how he did get onto his name. But yeah, I mean, he also had a pretty good game there on the Irelia, picked up a solo kill for himself, and we're going to be hopping into game number 2, pick and ban right now.
All right, well, let's see if they are going to attack anything a little bit differently in this game. Although I'm not quite sure how much more aggressive you could hope to get. Really zoomed in on the riot sign for quite a while there. Reminded me of ambulance sirens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Which maybe it was the firefighter truck, because there was so much fire from the.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
That was funny. That was funny. Yeah, I'm gonna need a laugh track. All right. Well, Yuumi now banned away by SANDBOX. Azir gonna be the ban by Jin Air.
Yeah, banning that one away from Dove. A very popular pick nowadays here in Korea. I feel like Azir comes in phases, and once that phase hits, we just see everybody picking it up again, and then it ends up getting banned a bunch, and people forget about him. We don't see him for a while, then slowly gets picked up again.
Then he comes back with a vengeance.
You know, some small buffs and nerfs here and there.
Okay. Sejuani will be taken off the table by SANDBOX. Although a Sejuani that tries to play like Malrang, not going to have many items, not going to have level 6 around the first fight.
Yeah.
This is going to be a lot of ganking.
The classic level 5 Sejuani gang.
And Sir Thomas going to be taken off the table. SANDBOX have to decide what the final ban is going to be.
A Lux, okay. So this was banned out the last time from SANDBOX.
And we'll see what Jin Air wants to open with, as it's going to be a Karma Hover.
Yeah. I mean, Karma left available. This champion has been 100% pick ban for a while now here in the LCK, and probably not only in the LCK. So first pick for the Jin Air Greenwings.
Okay, well, that was a very fast response of Irelia Xayah. And now they're threatening Rakan to be picked up by Dove. And we'll see what Jin Air want to respond to this with. You know that you're going up against Xayah Rakan most likely. And it looks like they want to just go up against it with an Ezreal. Malrang saying quite a bit. Not sure what exactly he might be talking about, but definitely very vocal as that pick was getting locked in. Darius now being hovered.
Hovered into the Renekton once again, so.
All right.
We saw CheonGo playing it. I feel like once again, his mechanics were pretty good. He had a kind of a rough lane against the Kellin.
You know, usually I don't get to use Magic analogies and have them hit. Atlas, he doesn't play. But
yeah,
you,
okay.
Jin Air's mono red.
Yes.
Okay.
You think they're going to try to draft Elise again?
Well, I mean, if you're SANDBOX, you probably just ban it away.
Yeah.
To take that option. You can just pinch the jungler pool and then pick jungle, and then reserve, concealing where the Irelia is headed, and then get counterpick however you deem fit.
Whilst also having one of the strongest spot lanes that does exist.
And now Jin Air, it's going to be a little bit hard pressed. It's hard to target top and mid. Your team composition is very face up, whereas SANDBOX is extremely flexible. Do you pinch the jungle pool even more and then hurt yourself potentially? It's definitely very interesting. Will SANDBOX ban away the Karthus, given that the Renekton and the Ezreal are there? Although SANDBOX does have a cheater champion against Karthus. Xayah is able to press R and avoid the Requiem.
I mean, you were talking about the mono red too, so Karthus, if not, XinJao was another option. The Elise is available though, in that case.
Maybe SANDBOX picks it up to steal it? Or SANDBOX goes for the Karthus.
Yeah, you know, why not? Build that Majia's second item and just go ham if you're feeling that confident.
I like how their colors at the top are reversed. Jin Air is very mid-rangey with green.
Yeah.
And SANDBOX is pretty mono-red. There's that random Ezreal teched in as a Kali now being hovered.
Yeah, it does allow you to continue your flex if you really want to.
Yeah, Kali makes it so that you have to go super aggressive at your opponent. Looks like they want to go blow for blow as they take the Lee Sin. Now, will Jin Air respond here by going Karthus? And then they can put Ezreal and Karma down in bottom. But then what is the other pick going to end up being? You'd probably want a Lucian in mid if you would do something like that, but doesn't look like that is going to be the case, as Jarvan is picked up, which is a little bit surprising. There's Lee Sin, who can get out of everything. Rakan can get out of everything. And the Morgana, the range balance on Jin Air's team composition is very off when you consider how the champions tend to dive and engage on the opponents. And now Corki is being hovered, and that would be a means of getting out of the Cataclysm and then bouncing back with poke. And it's basically the other way of being Azir.
Yeah. You just sit back, you know, you can farm up against the Karma in the mid lane. Even if they wanted to do some weird flex, throw a Renekton there, you could still hang on, just Valkyrie away.
Well, at this point, SANDBOX, they have such a better team composition here, yet again in game number 2. The onus is on Jin Air to get advantages, and it's going to be really hard to do that. TaNa and Malrang are going to have to get top lane rolling. The Corki is going to be fine, most likely in mid, but you can see CheonGo, he's taking Ignite on the Karma. So they're going to go for kill pressure against the Corki. And Corki has teleport, so with the Valkyrie, it's going to be really hard to move him. Jin Air needs a 4,000 gold lead, 5,000 gold lead, pre-20 minutes. Otherwise, they're just out of the game.
Yeah, it's kind of a rigged team composition, like you mentioned before. It's, you know, you have kind of one goal, one way to go.
Well, Renekton, J4, Karma, Ezreal, and Morgana. They really need to make fireworks fly around the 1 item mark, which is a little bit weird because the Ezreal's not totally online, but this is going to be a very top and mid focused game for Jin Air Greenwings. And on the flip side, Xayah, Rakan, Corki, Lee Sin, and then at the very top there is Irelia. Just so much more scaling, so much more safety, so much insurance policy available in this team comp.
Yeah, it does feel like SANDBOX has gotten the better of this draft here for game number 2. So let's hop onto the Rift and see if Jin Air can pull off the upset, or is SANDBOX going away with a 2-0. Jumping back on here for SANDBOX versus Jin Air. OnFleek going to return to his Lee Sin and look to have a bit of fun on that pick.
Kellin coming in here, getting vision early on. And the Jarvan, again, he has to make something happen early on. I'm unsure if Malrang's going to try some super cheesy play, like red-blue into a gank. And the other problem is that if OnFleek starts on the red side, Lee Sin just has more routes available that play better into his teammates. Looks like Dove is actually going to go top with the Corki.
Yeah. Here we go with the swaps again. Jin Air is going to find out about it right now as they see Summit returning to the mid lane.
And Summit here against the Karma. Well, CheonGo actually does have teleport, also has Comet, so going for pressure inside of this lane. As Corki versus Renekton, it's not a matchup that you get to see that often. And it is fleet footwork on the Corki. J4 is starting red into golems, perhaps recognizing that attempting to gank top lane is just not realistic. Malrang, question mark ping goes down on the blue buff, but they have vision on it. And now you can see the question mark pings going down onto OnFleek, alerting his teammates exactly where the Lee Sin can be at this point in the path.
You saw the Kellin pick up the Morgana here at the end of the draft phase. Going to be pretty useful up against that Rakan, specifically down in the bottom lane. So we all saw how much damage Root did on the Ezreal in game number 1. Perhaps he can get something going with that Morgana help for this lane.
It's going to be a little interesting here as Malrang is going for a wraparound on the blue. He's going to end up stealing it away, and they're going to trade buffs now, but this is going to favor SANDBOX because of the lane state of top, as well as the lane state of mid and bottom. It's much more favorable for OnFleek on the Lee Sin right now.
Take a look at the pings. They know exactly where he is, so a good read this time around by Malrang to have a good idea that OnFleek, he's not at Wolves, he's not at the right side, he must have gone to my blue.
OnFleek ends up picking up the Scuttle Crab, but now he's moving over to the Gromp. Looks like he will start the Gromp. Now, this is where junglers have options at this point. You can do the Wolves and leave a Bambi behind. You can leave the one small one, and then you can elect not to do the Gromp and leave it level 1 so that it doesn't rubber band for the enemy jungler. You can see all the question mark pings coming down right now by most likely Malrang, alerting his teammates of where exactly Lee Sin can be. And you can see that Wolf Camp for OnFleek. Let's see if he clears the whole camp. He does, so this is going to be good for Jarvan. So at the end of the day, Jin Air not in the worst of spots.
Yeah, the rubber banding will come through. As you always like to mention, Malrang will be able to pick up that higher level camp, feel good about it, whereas OnFleek will not. Pretty good trade down here on the bottom side by Root and Kellin. See Kellin even getting in there for a couple more autos. Really wants to get the maximum value out of this trade.
And you can see that Jarvan, he's pathing bottom lane right now. And the unfortunate thing is that Ghost has teleport, and the lane state, it's just not favorable right now for Jarvan to gank at this point. And so Lee Sin and him are just going to be handshaking endlessly, it seems, on full clearing. And we talked about this earlier on. SANDBOX, the obligation isn't on them to get ahead. They're not the ones that need advantages going in to the mid game or transitioning out of the early game. And with an open dragon being the first one that spawned, Jin Air are not finding themselves with the best advantage.
Yeah. It's not quite game 1 where SANDBOX from ahead roll all the Infernals in the game. Definitely Jin Air a little bit hard on their luck so far tonight. At least they do have the Ezreal in the bottom lane doing a little bit better this time around. Ghost has the TP, was wondering if he was going to use it there. Eventually does pack up and teleport to the cannon minion.
Go's coming back in, but you can see that Jarvan, he's on the left-hand side of the map. Lee Sin's going to be the one transitioning down towards the right. We see question mark pings coming down onto the dragon, but overall this is a very, very safe early game.
Okay, OnFleek not wasting any time here, wants to take that trade, but a good dodge actually on the binding. As Kellin going for the roam is able to deny any 2-on-2s, but it does save Malrang from any flash.
Now Malrang's going to recall, he's going to path through this left-hand side jungle, and that's where the rubber band camps are going to end up spawning, as well as the Scuttle Crab. It actually looks like he wants to go to red first. So, the thing about going to red first is the wave is coming into your bottom lane, but there's a trade.
Look at this, the Ignite does come out. They are able to get that fantastic summoner away from Kellin. That all started because Kellin was going for one of those harassment bindings almost and hit a minion, and Lee Sin was nearby. So, a good read there.
So what SANDBOX just attempted to do was a really greedy gank. They try to use the advantage that the wave is crashing for the unlikeliness that their jungler is going to be there in order to try to create a gank. Now, there's an alternate universe that exists right now where if Malrang circumvented going to his red, path to the left-hand side, well, we got a trade.
Yep, Summit trying to go in on this one.
Yeah.
CheonGo is going to go for the flash and just not mess around with that level 7 Irelia.
Malrang could have gone to the Scuttle Crab, saw OnFleek fail the gank in bottom, counter jungle his red, and then there's no intel telling SANDBOX what is going on, and then he would find himself up 4 camps in that exchange. But instead, Jin Air are going to turn their sights right now to an open dragon.
Yeah, they got 4 members on this route, a little bit low on mana, but Go's taking the long way around.
Whoa.
We got a TP on this. They really don't want to let this one go, but Malrang is going to get the buffered flag and drag to get out of there, plus the smart smite on the backside. So actually a nice little trade there going towards Jin Air.
Yeah, Jin Air, they pick up the Ocean Dragon and they get out with it. They also manage to steal away a teleport from SANDBOX. But it looks like Corki's going to be handed the blue. I wonder if this means that Summit is going to bounce to the top lane after this wave, or if Corki's just going to run there. Does he have a package? Yeah, he does. He's mounting right now.
Yep. There we go. Going up to the top side with his big package.
It's very big.
Yes, it's quite sizable.
Did you ever play Final Fantasy 3 or 6?
No. Nor 6.
Corki reminds me of Setzer.
Setzer? Oh, yeah.
People in chat, they'll know Setzer.
I've played a Final Fantasy phone game, actually. Another caster out here.
Is Setzer in there?
Yeah, Setzer's in there.
Okay. Corki is Setzer.
Okay.
All right.
That makes sense. OnFleek was a little bit too early with the smite there, you can see. Malrang was just like, okay, I'll take this one down.
It was a really interesting commitment. It's only an Ocean Dragon. So seeing SANDBOX so keen on teleporting down there and potentially actually looking for a fight was very surprising. And now, coming back into the live game, it's only a 300 gold advantage right now for Jin Air, which is not what they want to have right now. It should also be noted that Jarvan is going to be going for the Cinder Hulk. No Warrior Enchant or anything along those lines. As SANDBOX, yeah, they're just farming it out right now, Valdez.
Yeah. As you mentioned, I mean, that's all they really have to do. That's why that teleport for the Ocean Drake was really kind of mind-boggling in a way. If they can get this stun onto CheonGo, he's dead. Let's see if they can actually make it happen, as CheonGo reading the aggression here, the pressure pretty well. As Malrang, maybe he avoided that.
Oh, well, the question mark pings.
No, they know, okay. As he goes in there towards that Rift Herald, but we do have the Renekton coming down.
Well, now they know. Oh, man.
Oh, boy. CheonGo could be sniped out here, but now on Vision, he's able to dodge that one.
That's actually really big, the mantra.
That one ward, actually, is going to keep SANDBOX from really getting on top of them, and Jin Air now at 10 minutes and 40 seconds able to take out the Rift Herald.
They pick up the Rift Herald, and like you just said, there's 3 minutes remaining on the plates. So this can easily be converted into something worthwhile. We'll see if they end up doing it. The problem is that Summit has his teleport available soon, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get the mid lane state in a position to do so, but perhaps the Corki could be moved.
You got to hand it to Jin Air to actually getting a good early game going here this time around. The question is it enough? You know, as you mentioned, they would love to snowball this Rift Herald into a lot more money on the plates here and get one of their lanes ahead.
Right.
And really try to get that, 4,000, 5,000 gold lead you were talking about pre-20 to have a pretty good chance of winning this game.
And OnFleek coming down here right now. Malrang looking to match it. It's quite an unusual game of ping pong unfolding. Corki, you can see his mana pool is about half right now. A little bit under.
Malrang out of vision. Just going to pull that one into the brush. OnFleek not going to steal that one away, but spotted along the way. Teleport now down into the bottom side. Malrang with that Rift Herald would love to get something going. Nice try on the read by Kellin. That was really close. Got to hand it to him there. But again, Malrang, he's on a timer here with the Rift Herald. He's got to use it. It looks like he may just be doing that down in the bottom lane. There it is, as Summit also forced the flash.
So he's going to use the Rift Herald down in bottom. They will be able to get some of the plates. As CheonGo and TaNa, they're making their way down. It's all going to go on to Root.
That's big.
Yep.
320 extra gold.
Well, that's another one. So 400 gold onto Root, 80 gold onto Kellin. Definitely a successful Rift Herald.
Yeah, Dove, you remember, he had to teleport to the Ocean Drake. He didn't have a teleport for that last play, so there wasn't really a big response that SANDBOX could have gone for. We have Ghost now teleporting down to the bottom side, but another Ocean Drake should be going the way of Jin Air.
This will be the second open dragon that they will have been able to capture. Fantastic. They're rewarded now with a mountain dragon, if they can manage to pick it up before the next Baron. But I see a world where things go catastrophically.
Yeah.
Valdez.
Why do you say that?
Well, around the 19-minute mark.
Again, don't read off the script, please.
Completely demolishes Jin Air in the team fight. Gets the mountain drake, and then they'll convert into Baron.
What time was that again?
Nothing.
Around
Don't worry about
around
that.
17 minutes. That'll be pretty good timing for that fight, but we'll see if it does happen. And a bunch of plates. It looks like maybe one in the top side went to the side of Dove, but outside of that, I don't know if any other plates went the direction of anybody else on the Rift.
Gold score is even, despite everything that has unfolded. And Joker taking a little bit of damage right there.
You can see actually even one plate down on the bottom side. That did go the way of the SANDBOX bottom lane, so they were also able to pick up a bit of gold, and you can see the discrepancy is not that high just from plates in this early game. And because the CS lead in the mid lane and even a little bit in the top lane is favored towards SANDBOX, they will actually be the team in the lead.
Yeah, and SANDBOX are feeling really comfortable. We talked about in the pick ban that the Jin Air team composition needs to be several thousand gold ahead around the 20-minute mark just to be considered slightly ahead or relatively okay in terms of a game state. But the fact that they're slightly behind on gold is really not good. They should be able to pick this up, though.
Yeah, Ghost and Joker, not sure why you're this deep in the enemy bot lane, as First Blood is going to be given over to Root. Definitely a nice amount of extra gold handed over to Jin Air.
And without Ghost having his teleport available, they could get quite a bit of chip damage onto this turret. Lee Sin is nearby. Summit seemed a little bit indecisive with what he wanted to do with the damage. Root could just raise the turret.
Yeah, just attack the turret, buddy. Looks like they're not 100% sure who else is there, but they have the death timer. They know that Joker had to go back.
They know that
they
Ghost was dead, and then on top of that, TaNa's proximity to Dove, there's no way for him to get away and teleport in, even if there is some sort of a flank ward. So that was definitely extremely overly cautious play.
Yeah.
And that's why the plane can't get off the runway.
Yeah, sometimes they're a bit too aggressive. You know, they try to just jerk the joystick straight up into the sky. Sometimes they say, okay, we're going to be on the runway for 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes too long. They do eventually get that bottom lane turret, though. It took an extra push and a bunch of extra time, but eventually they finally did get there.
Well, Valdez, I want to bring you back to the point earlier about Jin Air and the Mountain Dragon.
Yeah.
Coming up. It's in a minute and a half. Dove and Joker, they're not actually able to get this turret. And let's see how heavy of a commitment SANDBOX is willing to make for it. As it looks like CheonGo is going to go up to the top lane. And Summit, I mean, right now, SANDBOX is out-pressuring Jin Air at every step. And Summit backing off again a little bit prematurely, but doesn't quite matter.
That's a bunch of missed XP and even gold down on the bottom side. Maybe an Ezreal from patches past could have cleared out the back line of minions, but instead just weakened it to one shot by the turrets. TaNa was taking a long time to get down here and defend.
And Joker and OnFleek just clearing out vision around the Mountain Dragon. Malrang, he looks keen on just doing the Golem camp and then hovering around down here. CheonGo, he has his teleport available. He's been sitting on those items for quite a long time. We'll see if he ends up completing perhaps before the team fight, but Dove looks like he's moving down river. Maybe he doesn't want to teleport to this fight. He just wants to come here and then teleport back up top. Does seem to be what he will do. How much damage can Root dish out? Oh, that's actually a lot.
He had to use the package too, as Dove gets red buff burned on his way back. He is going to have to go back home. And this team fight will begin in favor of the Jin Air Greenwings. They're also pushing the mid lane at the same time.
Teleport, though, on Corki. Very cautious teleport. Oh, the binding landed.
Nice dodge at least on the
Here it
empowered
is.
Q there.
I told you about this, Valdez.
The Mountain Drake, it's happening. Can they avoid it? Okay, Joker gonna use a bunch of stuff. He only gets it, and there's the steal from the Xayah of all people. It's gonna go the direction of SANDBOX. In goes Summit, not sure why he's going in all alone. Got a little bit too excited watching too much KT, but either way, that is gonna be the Mountain Drake over to the side of SANDBOX.
Yeah, and picking up the Mountain Dragon is super big. Jin Air, they look at the next dragon coming up, and you know what it is, Valdez. It's another open dragon. So that one is not going to be the best case scenario, especially because their team composition wants to move forward into the opposition very quickly. Even though there is some poke aspects, triple Ocean Dragon, I don't know how to feel about it. Let's take another look at the fight. Corki coming in from the north. Joker botching his engage, actually, pretty heavily considering so many members were inside of the Dragon Pit. OnFleek and Malrang both managing to whip on the Dragon, so it was picked up by Ghost, and then Summit. You wanted to see what was on, you know, if the grass was really greener on the other side. That's what happened.
It was, right? He was in the river and went over to the grassy area of Summoner's Rift, so he found out exactly what was waiting for him.
Did you see the new Nintendo Switch was announced?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's quite nice. I'm going to get one.
You think you're going to get one?
I am going to get one.
Didn't you have the regular Switch before?
No, I actually did. I never bought it.
Oh,
because I said to myself, I'm not going to buy this just to get Smash Brothers. But I will buy the Lite for Pokemon.
What about, like, Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey?
Nope.
Breath of the Wild 2 that's coming out eventually.
League of Legends.
You mean TFT, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Summit taking a bunch of damage already. He's stuck in the pit. He does not have his flash. Still does a ton of damage and gets out alive. Oh. But OnFleek is gonna go down there. And actually, Jin Air will win the fight. As for some reason, OnFleek got caught by himself. As everybody else was zoned out there by the side of Jin Air.
And also, they don't have Dove through all of this. He's busy down in bottom lane, raising turrets. And that's going to be a tier 2 turret going over to Dove. As he's continuing to clear out this week. He's going to hit level 14. So he has a level lead over CheonGo and TaNa. Not quite sure where they're standing. And he's also going to counter jungle, potentially, the Krugs of Malrang. And this is very good for his team. So let's take another look at this. Summit checking the brush with the Irelia stun. Gets locked up. Joker, he wasn't having any of that. And you can see what happens right there on Fleek. His Dragon Kick actually got canceled by the Morgana Black Shield. And so even though Ghost comes in, there's nothing to realistically be done inside of that fight.
Kind of an awkward one there because Summit was just in the Cataclysm for so long. As here comes OnFleek. The Krugs got counter-jungled. OnFleek's counter-jungling. The Gromp here for Agatha is going to be kicked in the back before she does go down. See, total damage not super high on the side of SANDBOX. For some reason, I guess TaNa going up against Corki is the reason why he still doesn't even have 500 damage yet. But Ezreal, once again, popping off as he does.
And Mountain Dragon isn't quite on the agenda yet for SANDBOX. And again, look at them. They're just completing all of their second core items. Lee Sin, relatively close to getting that Black Cleaver. He just picked up Phage and the Kindle Gem. And they're sitting pretty right now. If you're SANDBOX and you're like, okay, well, we're scaling towards our third core items, and then you look at the opposing team, you're not really feeling all that threatened. And with another Open Dragon coming up in 50 seconds, you don't even necessarily need to get it. You can just keep scaling if you want to. But realistically, they could just use it as a way to entice Jin Air into taking a team fight that would result in Jin Air losing.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see how the fight does start off. I feel like Root is a big-time carry for the side of Jin Air. We have kind of crossed that point of no return, as you did mention, but this guy is on 3 items, 2, 0, and 1 with the red buff. So if he can pull off some crazy Ezreal shenanigans, especially before the fight begins, you definitely cannot count him out just yet.
They're trying to clear out the mid wave right now as Dove, he's coming with the package. How many bars of soap do you think's in that package?
Well, you can obviously see there's 4.
There's
4 big ones right there in the front.
It was free too.
Yeah,
that's
it's coming
like when
quick too. It's just like Korea.
That's like
same
when you
day
go to
delivery.
The market and you spend enough money and then you get a free gift. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, 2
like
plus 1. Oh, you mean, oh, the gift.
Yeah, the gift.
Not the 2 plus 1. It's like, oh, here, have a free, you know.
Yeah, 4 bars of soap.
20-cent juice.
And then you start wondering if the cashier's calling you dirty.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's like, don't forget your soap.
Right. Why do I get the soap? Why not the ramen noodles? You know? Feels quite bad.
Or why not both? I mean.
Yeah, why not both? This doesn't make any sense.
Every gamer definitely requires both of those things.
Yeah.
The ramen, you know, while you're watching the TFT stream, and then you use the bar of soap, hopefully. Not ironically. Here's Malrang in the brush, or in the pit, I should say, all alone. Has to flash as he flag and dragged over for that one.
Oh, quite a bit of damage there by Root. Let's take a look at this amazing double Mountain Drake. Fantastic. Or double Ocean, as double Mountain is coming up.
Double Ocean Man here for the side of Jin Air. And, I mean, Root is not going to run out of mana, so he's got that going for him. Here's the flank, though, the flash in with the ult. Summit able to get one stun down. Joker going to charm a bunch, but where's the damage? They're not even able to kill TaNa here. Finally able to get into the back line is SANDBOX, but it is only that one Renekton. Bunch of damage,
Root!
And there it is, Root! Somehow alone is able to get the 2 after the binding from the side of Kellin as Jin Air strike back hard.
And now they're going to be able to raise the mid-tier 1 turret. Unfortunately, they don't have that Mountain Dragon. If they did, they could go to Baron with the double ocean. And they might have been able to pick it up, but instead here, they're pushing on for mid-tier 2. They end up chipping about 45% of it.
I can feel this flight is about to take off.
I could.
The engines are running. We got that wing seat too.
You know when you get to the runway?
Rumbling. Yeah.
Have you ever been pulled back from the runway?
No, actually. I've been lucky enough to not.
You've never had that?
Okay. Have you?
Yeah, actually one. That was a field.
I've had a retake off in the air. That was scary.
This was a fantastic Irelia ultimate to engage this fight. Joker also doing quite a good job. TaNa running away. Now, one of the things the Jin Air team composition does do well also is run away with all of the mobility. That true shot barrage, it was okay.
It started with the binding, though. It was from the side from Kellin, and it was the 1-2 punch from the bottom lane of Jin Air that once again are really the only thing saving Jin Air in a lot of these games where they do pretty well.
Guardian Angel completed now for the Ezreal, so he's going to be the one final boss for SANDBOX to take down. Third core items, though, it's almost completed for SANDBOX. And a minute and a half until the next Mountain Dragon. They should just be content to keep scaling. As Root, he's going to have to pull a miracle out of the hat in order to keep everything alive here.
I like how you call him the final boss because that's really what it is going to be as the game goes along.
With
you
Jin
know.
Air. Teddy.
And in this position too, because a lot of their other stuff are kind of going to fall off with their comp, and SANDBOX is only going to get stronger.
What do you think it is that makes Jin Air ADCs so special?
Maybe ADCs in general, when you're just on a team that is, you just have this urgency of, I really have to carry. So they start picking stuff like Ezreal, they get really good at it. They start picking stuff like late game carries like Sivir, become a fountain laser like Teddy, and they just become so proficient at this stuff that can kind of 1v9 that eventually they're just like, okay, I'm a god at this champion. Maybe I can actually 1v9 this time.
Yeah, and well, in this game he is going to try to have to 1v9.
But he missed the cannon.
He missed the, that's it. Well, engine failure. Here's the
we
true
barely
shot
got
barrage.
off the runway.
Yeah, well, now we never will.
What's going on?
You ready?
I'm never coming back to this airport.
Are you ready for the throw at the Mountain Dragon?
This is the real airplane over here. He was actually on SANDBOX the whole time.
Dove's about to ask Jin Air if they want to see how a plane really gets off the ground.
It's like the difference between T-Way and Korean Air.
What?
T-Way is like a budget airline out here.
All right.
Yeah, Korean Air is one of the best.
Well, here it comes. This is it. This is a decisive fight. How do you feel?
I'm feeling pumped. I think it's going to go pretty well. Not going to take any sides here, as I am definitely not going to count Root out just yet.
The level advantage for SANDBOX is actually quite big. They have one level in top and mid lane.
All right, here's Joker on the left side, but he is going to be spotted.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's some good vision there from Joker. Trying to press this down, but the Dragon is going to release now and goes OnFleek. He's able to steal it away to kick and the safeguard over the wall.
Look at Corki's damage.
Yeah, Dove now is just going to push them away. Root took way too much damage on the front line. Here comes the crits, too, out of Dove. And all that Jin Air can do is kite away, but now that's two Mountain Drakes to the side of SANDBOX.
There's 2 mountain dragons and an ocean dragon. With an elder coming up next, it's going to be really hard for Jin Air to find a way out of this. Ezreal taking a lot of damage right there, too.
Yeah. See, that Root is trying his heart out. I feel bad for this guy. But he really is the only hope right now, the last hope here for Jin Air.
Well, Root is probably feeling a lot of pressure in this game at 31 minutes. He's healing all the way back up. Probably doesn't have the ability to recall if the other SANDBOX members end up getting onto the map. At least not until his teleport is available. Lots of control wards now purchased by SANDBOX as well, so Baron is on the horizon. We'll take another look at this. And you can just see that Jin Air was not on the same page. Dragon Kick on Malrang to knock him back towards the rest of the teammates, but no fight ended up transpiring.
Yeah, so just another big objective to the side of SANDBOX's big late game comp. It does get better than this. I mean, we saw game number 1, right? But certainly SANDBOX are in a very comfortable situation in this game. Don't only look at the kill score. It doesn't tell the whole story.
Even gold. 5-2 is the score. 52,000 is the gold score.
Ooh. Yeah, okay, here's Root once again. He's trying his hardest, man. He's using that arcane shift forward. He doesn't give a damn. He just wants to do as much damage as possible. But Dove now is able to match in terms of the poke, and this is where it's going to get pretty hard. There wasn't that much poke on the side of SANDBOX, and they weren't able to endure.
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Dove.
Yeah, Dove took a big chunk from the karma.
Doesn't have any way of life-stealing that back up, so that's going to be a recall and more bot time. But here's the issue for Jin Air, is Elder and Baron are both really, really good against them, and they're going to be forked in a bit here when that one ends up coming up. I always got to slow down, Valdez, when I say that word.
Yeah.
I always gonna be real careful.
Yeah.
2 minutes on the Elder, and I don't know what Jin Air is actually going to do. Because even if they get the Baron, the Elder Dragon is just so strong, it enables SANDBOX to do so much more. And if they get the Elder, and SANDBOX gets the Baron, it doesn't necessarily mean that they even win the fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of setting up here for Vision, as it always is, and Root trying to stop them from doing that. Take a look at the damage here in this game. It really is the battle of the pokers. The Ezreal up against the Corki coming in here, but SANDBOX in major control of this region right now. They're going to start it here, but Vision will be granted to the side of Jin Air. They're coming on in. It's already below half health. How are they going to get into this
needs
pit?
To be a hero.
Oh, they're going to stop the DPS.
Wow.
Okay, SANDBOX not messing around. And a huge amount of poke damage comes out of Root. He's given the black shield, and there he goes into the front line. He's really not scared, especially when he has that shield, and he's able to stop them from taking that Baron down.
SANDBOX are all recalling right now. This means that Jin Air...
Oh, boy. They found someone here in the jungle. Summit getting pretty low, but the Root here onto Malrang is going to stop him from keeping on going on in.
The Root onto Malrang.
Yeah.
Very excellent. Excellent choice of words there, Valdez.
We're getting a big zoom out. We have 3 teleports on the side of SANDBOX. Nobody, okay. Irelia's going back now. Summit's thinking about it, but Jin Air, they know about this.
The really rough spot about this, though, is Kellin doesn't have his ultimate available, and Jin Air are sitting on quite a lot of gold, whereas some of the SANDBOX members coming fresh off of a recall. And now Elder's up, so let the forking begin. Ooh. Oh, that was really close.
Stun comes down. Whoa. Oh, Dove.
He has teleport, though.
Yeah, he has teleport. Here comes Root, though. Can anyone stop this madman? As the Ezreal's just running at them right now. And he's got the slow, too, from the side of his teammates. The spooky ghosts come out. And all that SANDBOX can do is run away.
Yeah, this is honestly really surprising. Malrang doesn't want to use his smite on the Gromp. Oh, man. Oh, they better check for him.
Yeah, okay.
Look at how absolutely planehead he is right now. Size of a plane. That is like, what is it called? What's the front of the plane called? Not the cockpit, but...
The nose?
Is it the nose?
I'm pretty sure it's the nose.
Whatever it is, it's that head right now. Okay.
Nose head? Okay. See where you're going with this. Elder Drake has spawned. Rude once again doing his best. Just going to frontline here. Dove with the package trying to deny him. That was going to go through the posts as it does sail wide. Elder Drake getting low. Here's the flank from the side. The kick comes in and the stun, and there's the Elder Drake to the side. The double knock up by Joker. They're going to get that damage down, and now it's Ghost who's frontlining. And now that Root doesn't have any tank line here, he just has to run away. Oh, as okay, OnFleek getting a little bit cheeky there, but he draws out that arcane shift as Root does a bunch of damage here, but he's all alone. As it always has been on the side of Jin Air. Poor Root.
They take Root, they take the Guardian Angel.
Okay, he's trying to do damage, but one on two, that's not enough.
That's going to be Jin Air Heart going down right at the very end. So, SANDBOX, they win the game.
That they do. Really nice flank there. Good positioning from the side of SANDBOX. Once again, a fantastic kick from OnFleek. And once they were just able to out-position and out-team fight Jin Air, SANDBOX were able to deny that Ezreal and get this game going. As once again, the kick is going to come down here on a CheonGo. Just trying to zone him out as they take down this Nexus. Goes TaNa, trying to do his best to get on in there, but he will not die one more time. And SANDBOX are going to be able to pick up the 2-0 victory tonight.
And that's what they needed, because the next series of the night, between Kingzone and Damwon, SANDBOX, they want to hold that second place spot, and getting the 2-0 here against Jin Air was really important for them. Although it looked like at one point, Root was maybe going to be able to make that airplane fly, but not quite.
Yeah, they didn't quite have what it took. Not enough fuel to get off the ground. They started to. They actually took off, and Root was just leading the charge. He was the pilot. But it was just not enough there in the end. So props to SANDBOX with Summit for being able to take that victory.
SANDBOX bowing towards the fans right now. Yeah. And if you're Jin Air, don't quite know how you could feel right now. If you're a Jin Air fan, also don't know how it must feel right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's the worst when they're given a chance. You know, they're given a shot, right? You get a little bit of hope in their minds. Everybody's getting on the Root hype train. It's like, maybe this is the time. If they took a game from SANDBOX, anything could happen. And then SANDBOX just put them in the dumpster.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, it was just a straight-up outplay there towards the end. A bit of an outscaling composition as well. I feel like SANDBOX won both of the drafts. I think you would agree on that part as well. And SANDBOX, of course, turned out to be the better team in this game.
And it's interesting to see how Jin Air approached the drafts tonight. It was very aggressive, very heavy reliance on getting advantages, and even when they didn't root, still managed to almost hold it together. Jin Air does something special about making ADCs. That
it does, and if you're a Jin Air fan, unfortunately, you might just see Root on a different team in the next season. You know, that's definitely something that could happen, and then maybe we'll see the next new AD carry superstar come out of the woodwork for 2020 for Jin Air.
Well,
that is if they do stay in the LCK, because at this rate, we'll have to see if they do make it into relegations, as after this loss, they are now 0-10 in series.
Joker doing a little bit of a nice little salute right there for the camera. And I'm interested to see how both of these teams, once 9-14 hits, what is going to end up happening. Because I only hear how big it is, but I don't quite know the magnitude of it. So that is coming. Perhaps that could be the inspiration that Jin Air needs to start winning.
Yeah, maybe the magical 8-game comeback is what they needed. But a new patch, I mean, you can see they're trying new stuff, right? We saw Renekton Elise tonight. It got totally read like a book and shut down. We did see double Renekton, both TaNa and CheonGo playing that today. Maybe they brought out CheonGo because he's a better Renekton player, and they thought, hey, maybe we can flex this pick that we feel like our mid and top laners are good at and is now meta. Maybe we can use this to our advantage. I like that they're trying things and they're not giving up. Like we saw a couple of games in spring, unfortunately, it was like, well, this team is just, you know, laying down and kind of dying. But this time around, at least, they're trying new things and trying their best, you could say.
Well, Joker, one last smile at the camera.
Yeah. He's enjoying the camera time.
He has 2 drinks.
Yeah?
He was walking off there with 2 drinks. Yeah, he was. Got a lot of
You got to stay hydrated, right? When you're playing sports.
Absolutely. Stay hydrated, bot. Do you have that in your Twitch channel?
I don't, actually. I should add that. But I'm a guy that drinks a ridiculous amount of water. I usually go for like 2 to 3 liters a day. I know you're like a white Monster energy drink kind of guy. Maybe some Red Bulls mixed in with a side of Coca-Cola.
No. Nope.
No? Okay.
We don't do that.
Yeah. You sure you don't want to have don't want to have one of these?
Nope. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Too many calories.
Yeah. That was from yesterday. Max.
Oh.
Got the he left it here on the desk for me. Shout out to Atlas. I might have that Pepsi a little bit later on. Yeah, I mean, this was the one good moment, right? I feel like Kellin and Root had a pretty good game, but you can't win games 2v5, right? And unfortunately, a lot of the games are kind of falling into that category for Jin Air.
Malrang right there didn't seem like he was actually prepared for a smite fight. You saw him, how he was posturing around Summit, as we mentioned, wanted to see if the grass was greener on the other side. It wasn't. And right here, Summit getting caught in a bit of an ugly spot again. OnFleek trying to go in there with a dragon kick, not quite able to find it. And it ended up just losing a lot of value for SANDBOX's Corki, who is doing things in bottom lane. This looked like a fantastic engage here by Summit and Joker. But then,
watch Kellin.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Oh, man.
From downtown.
Chains and whips. Excited. That's what? Rihanna. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Come on. All right. This Mountain Dragon was also really sad. Jin Air not quite able to secure it. And now Elder Dragon.
아 이거 들어가야겠다 형 그냥 뭐 인식 걸어.
So we gotta
이거
go
하고
in.
이거 치면서 봐봐. 해볼래? 위치 보면서 인식 걸어. 잠깐 마텔 빠졌어. 마텔 빠졌어. 내 안에서 써볼게 일단.
We're gonna hit it inside the pit for now.
슬슬 갈게.
Saying, okay, we're gonna go.
가르마 잡았어. 버스.
And then after that, it's just a cleanup. So you can see the comms are very clean from the side of SANDBOX. You know, the second they say, okay, go, they all go in as a team. OnFleek sets it up. They set up the kick. That's been part of the success here from the side of SANDBOX.
Yeah, and right here, you can see the moment that Jin Air's heart broke. Right there, actually, right there. See it? We're gonna zoom in.
Oh.
That might be the heart. You saw that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Is he doing dab there at the end?
I don't know. That looks like he got hit by a Kamehameha or something. Did you see that, Kratos?
Kamehameha.
Don't tell me you didn't watch Dragon Ball Z.
No, I thought it was pronounced Kamehameha.
What? What are you saying?
Oh, God. Kamehameha. All right. Learning new things every day. As this is a very extended replay.
This is actually quite long.
It
Looks like, yeah, finish. No KDA farming here.
Okay, 수고요.
Said okay, good job.
Oh, that's a nice big bar.
That's,
It looks like a lightsaber, you know? One of the blue lightsabers.
Is that a way to give the enemy team the middle finger?
Kind of.
Is that what's going on?
That's
there?
Root saying,
That's Root.
F this. I'm out of here. 2.2K on the Renekton top.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Poor Root, man. I just hope that he gets a stronger team next year. And he doesn't even have to be traded somewhere else, but maybe they can come back for next year and do something. Because that guy does have talents. I feel like himself and Kellin, they come out every day. They try their hardest. They never give up.
They're one of the best bottom lanes.
Just can't make it happen.
In LCK.
Where would you rate them? Just off the top of your head. Do you think top 5? There's a bunch of good bottom lanes.
Yeah, I think that they'd be top 5.
Maybe number 5?
Imagine if they had teammates that weren't putting them under so much pressure.
Yeah.
And they could be just left to their own devices.
Even with those teammates, they're still coming in and winning lanes. Unfortunately, they don't win the games. So Dove here is going to pick up the MVP vote. Did just go 2, 1, and 4, and did do the most damage on his team. So the Corki, obviously a massive damage number, and that is going to be his 4th MVP of the season.
And the binding, locking up Ghost, who wasn't able to quite get as far forward as he would have liked. Saw that? Saw that, yeah. Ghost? That was a Ghost on the screen.
Yeah. The ghosts of the Korean casters.
Yep.
Don't worry, guys. They're still alive. They're over there.
They're over there.
Yeah. But we voted for Joker, actually. I feel like he had a lot of good engages.
He looked for so many amazing flanks that could have just single-handedly won the game.
Yeah. But that's not the way it went. We are going to be hearing from Dove and Summit. I'm going to hand it over to Ji-sun for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. For translation. SANDBOX. After wrapping up the first round with 2 losses and 7 wins, and you guys are kicking off with a very good start. Well, our win streak did stop, but I want to just come back and make sure we can just like stack up the victories. Especially we showed a very good performance today, so I'm really happy. And I heard both of you caught colds and not feeling well. Well, my face is blushing a little bit, but everything is okay. We got the win. In both games, actually, we could see both top and mid rotation or lane swap. So what kind of strategy was that? We didn't really prepare, but we were thinking of the champion matchups, like it was more like impromptu. In game number 1, in every highlight, Cannon's ultimate was controlling all the team fights, so let's take a look at the mid lane team fight over here. So the timing of your ultimate was really impressive. When you're holding the ultimate, actually the opponents have to kind of zone, like they're forced to kind of be zoned because they have to be like surviving from the CC, so I was kind of utilizing that fact. So after that good game number 1, Jin Air strike back quite well in game number 2, especially as you saw the damage graph. Ezreal was doing a lot of damage. So Dove, how did SANDBOX player think about it, the game number 2? Just like we were just following the flow. We were trying to go with the objective fights, so we were kind of had confidence about those team fights, especially we had Corki on our side, so we were thinking of like fighting near the objectives. Well, you guys are picking up all the dragons in game number 1, but game number 2, actually Jin Air was also able to pick up some of them. Well, every player really wants the Ocean Drake, but we were a bit unlucky. But for the second one, we just letting the Jin Air to have it. Because like we were just holding it in game for the second Ocean Drake. But we did see OnFleek stealing it away from Jin Air for the third one. So OnFleek did steal it, but you made a great assist over there. So let's take a look at the highlights. Corki was actually on the upper side of the Dragon team.
저희가 딱히 정확히 어떻게 하자고는 안 했는데.
We didn't make any specific calls for that. We were just like doing their own work. OnFleek did a very good job on the smite fights, and my skill shot was lending to every opponent, so I was a bit lucky.
그런 플레이 덕분에 용도 스틸할 수 있었습니다. 자, 다음 경기가 젠지입니다.
Next opponent will be
다음
Genji.
경기뿐만 아니라 계속해서 잘 풀어 나가야겠다는
Well, not only the Genji series, but I guess you guys really want to have a great second round robin as well, right?
될 수 있으면 1라운드보다 더 좋은
Well,
성적을
if
내고
it's
싶고
possible, I want to get better results, even
연승을
better
계속
than the
이어나가고
first round,
싶어요.
and I just want to keep this win streak.
지금 많이 아프신 것 같아요.
괜찮습니다.
I think you're
빨리
feeling really
끝내기를
sick, Summit. I just
노력할게요.
want to
네.
wrap up it as quick as possible, and Dove, would you like to add on to that?
연승을 했었는데
Well, we were on a
그
win streak,
연승
but
맛을 잊지 않고 다시
I want to make sure how it tasted in the past, so I just want to come back to the winning streak for the second round as well.
감사드리고 승리 축하드립니다.
Once again,
감사합니다.
congratulations on the win, and this will be the end of the interview with
선수,
Summit.
도부
So
선수
from
함께했습니다.
SANDBOX Gaming, I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you, G-Sun, for the wonderful translation. Hope Summit feels a bit better. And yeah, that was SANDBOX versus Jin Air. Next matchup, guys, though, is going to be, well, we're going to take a quick look at this. SANDBOX, for just one moment here, are going to take the first place spot. Of course, they have played one more game than Griffin and Damwon. Damwon will have a chance to win up against Kingzone later tonight. That's a huge matchup, guys, you don't want to miss. And if Damwon do win that, they could tie up with SANDBOX up at first place.
Yeah, and so it's going to be a very big match for them, and it's going to be one of the biggest matches of summer.
Yeah.
Up until this point, this is going to be two planets colliding. It's going to be like Earth and, I don't know, the moon's going to fall on it.
Earth and Mars, maybe?
No.
A little bit closer comparison there. Yeah.
All right, fine, I'll give you that.
I feel like Damwon is the Earth, and wait, which one is bigger? That NA education coming back to bite us there. I think it's the Earth. Not 100% sure. But either way, we are going to have those two planets colliding. Kingzone up against Damwon. Certainly the highlight matchup of the week, if not of summer. Make sure you come back in about an hour for that matchup, guys. We'll be here.
You take me higher when I feel low. Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, all with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true.